Hello and welcome to our quickfire session on percentages. Today what I'm going to do is cover 4, 5, 6 areas of percentages that you need to know for your maths exam. The first few are fairly straightforward, so if you're totally happy with those, then feel free to skip through those bits and get to the latter stages. So the 6 areas we're going to look at today are: number 1, expressing one quantity as a percentage of another. So one quantity, I'll just write them out here, just so you have some background. One quantity as a percentage of another. Number 2, we're going to be looking at how we find a percentage of a quantity. So essentially finding percentage of a specific quantity. So of a quantity. Number 3, we're going to be looking at percentage changes. So looking at how we find the percentage increase or decrease between two values. Number 4, we're going to be looking at reverse percentage problems. So this is an area sometimes students find a little bit more difficult. So reverse percentage problems. Number 5, we're going to be looking at working out simple interest problems. So this is when you, for example, put your money in the bank and you earn a specific amount of interest. What's your interest going to be in 1 year's time, for example? Simple interest. And finally, number 6, we're going to look at compound interest. This is essentially earning interest on interest. And this, I would say, is probably one of my favorite areas in practice. As Einstein once said, that compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it. So it's quite a relevant topic in practice, as well as the theoretical points that you need to know for your exam. So let's go through this then. Number 1 then, looking at how you write or work out a quantity as a percentage. And we'll do, as always, we'll do this by practical examples. So if we look at a couple of questions, question 1 then, the question says express 30p as a percentage of £2. So 30p as a percentage of £2. Well, really the only thing you need to know, or the real thing you need to know here, or the important thing you need to know here, is that percentages are out of 100. So what we need to do here, fairly straightforward, is just to write this as a percentage. So how do I write 30p as a percentage of £2? Well, 30p would be 30p divided by £2. I would rewrite that as 200 pence times, and percentage, like we said, you just times by 100. So what is 30 divided by 200 times 100? And that will give you 15. So 15%. Second question then. So question 2 states that a newspaper contains 48 pages. And we're told that 6 of these pages are sports. So 6 pages are sports pages. And the question says, what percentage of the pages are sports pages? Well, just like in question 1, here we've got 6 out of a total of 48. And we want to write this as a percentage, so we would times by 100. So what is 6 divided by 48 times 100? And your answer is 12.5%. Fairly straightforward. So if we go on to the next point then, question, or the second part of this lesson, the second area, which is finding the percentage of a particular quantity. So, for example, you could get a question. So number 1, For example, find 20%. So find 20% of £56. So this is where they ask you to find a percentage of a particular number or amount. So how do you find 20% of £56? Well, just like before, we said that percentages are always out of 100. So you could do 20 divided by 100 times 56. And that would give you £11.20. So 20 divided by 100 times £56 is £11.20, and that's your answer. Simple. If we move on to the third element, so looking at percentage changes, as well as percentage increases and decreases, an area I think is fairly straightforward, but students do tend to trip up. So let's have a look at this. Again, we'll do it by question, or lead this by a question. So if, for example, we had, or the question was, a sample of soil is dried in an oven, and we're told that the mass of the soil reduces from 65 grams to 45 grams. And the question is, find the percentage decrease. So find the percentage decrease in the mass. So we can see it's percentage decrease because the absolute amount is also decreased. So 65 to 45, you're going down by 20 grams. But you want to find, or the question asks us to find the percentage change, the percentage decrease from 65 to 45. The way we do this in practice is essentially to take the new value, we subtract from the original value. So here, the new value is 45 grams, because it went down to 45. The original value is 65 grams. So we would do 45 minus the original, which is 65. Divide that by the original value. So the original value is 65. And then obviously this is where we're asked to find a percentage, so we would times by 100. So 45 minus 65 is obviously going to give you a negative number, which is what we want here because we're looking for a percentage decrease. So 45 minus 65 equals minus 20. So we've got minus 20 over 65 times 100. And that would give you an answer of 30.8%. So to get from 65 to 45, we're going down by 30.8%. Right, let's have a look at another question then. So, question 2, we're told that a shop buys pens for 15 pence, so 15 pence, and sells each pen for, so he buys for 15 pence, sells for 21 pence. And the question is, what is the percentage profit? So, what is profit, or how do we define profit? Profit is essentially the amount you sell something for minus the amount you buy something for. So in this case, we would take the new value, which is 21 pence. So 21 pence. Take away the original, which is 15 pence, and that's also this is the profit. 21 minus 15 is your profit, so that's 6 pence. Divide that by, so 6 pence, the original value, which is 15p, the original cost, and to make that into a percentage, you times that by 100, and that will give us 40%. So just remember, whenever we're looking at percentage increase, decrease, or percentage changes, we're looking at our new value, take away your old value, your original value, divide that by the original value, and times by 100. That's a sort of a little nugget rule, if you'd like to see it that way, to answer these kind of questions. Right, let's move on to the slightly more challenging area where students do tend to struggle, and that is reverse percentage problems. So reverse percentage problems. And let's look at a question straight away. So, question 1 says that a shop sells videos with a 20% discount. So these are videos which are on sale by 20%, got a discount of 20%. And we're also told that the individual, we'll call her Petra. So Petra buys a video and pays £10. So Petra buys the video for £10. And the question is, how much does the video normally cost? So how much does video normally cost? So the question is basically asking us that what is the cost of the video without that discount? Normally, what price is it? At the moment, it's on discount, and so Petra is buying it for £10. But what's the original cost or the original price of that video? So how do we do this? Well, think about it, right? We are told that the videos are being sold at a 20% discount. So originally, if you look at it in percentage terms, it's at 100%. And we're selling it at 20% discount. So we're selling these videos for 80%, right? Because 100 minus 20 is 80. Now what's the absolute or the cost of these, the amount that we're selling these videos are being sold for, or the amount Petra is buying them for? She's buying them on sale for £10. So that 80% can be represented as £10. And we want to find the original cost, or the original amount that these videos are being usually sold for. So we want to go back, reverse. We want to go back to 100%. So how do I go from 80% to 100%? Well, I can do 80 divided by 80 to give me 1%, and then times that by 100 to give me 100%. So if I've got to do that on the left-hand side, I need to do that on the right-hand side as well. So I would just do 10, divide that by 80, and times by 100. If you do that in your calculator, you will get £12.50. Now, it's also worth checking that you are correct. What we mean by that here is, if we take 20% of £12.50, what is that? So 20% of £12.50, well, we know how to do these kind of questions now. So that's 20 divided by 100 times £12.50, and that will give you £2.50. So if I take away £2.50 from £12.50, I'm going back to my value of £10. So I know I've done this calculation correctly. It's a quick little neat check to see whether we've done this correctly. Let's have a go at one more question then on this. So this question says, Tara gets a 5% wage rise or wage increase. And we're told that her new wage, is £126 for the week. So £126. The question is, what was Tara's wage before her wage rise? So it's asking us to find out the original, or her original wage, before it was increased by the 5%. So we've had a 5% wage increase. So we've gone from the original 100%, our starting point, and we've gone up to 105%. That's in percentage terms. And the absolute amount of that 105% is the new wage, which is £126. And we want to find out the original wage. So we want to go back to, again, this reverse problem, we want to go back to 100%. So what is 100%? Now again, how do you get from 105 to 100? Well, I can divide the 105 by 105 to get 1%, and times by 100. So if I do that on the left-hand side, I've got to do that on the right-hand side. So I would do 126 divided by 105 times 100. And that will give me